Hey y'all, it's Alec from Sharing the Journey. Had quite a few questions around the campground about why we like to enjoy or why we enjoy work camping. So this morning I got up and put together a short list, 8 things, the reason why we enjoy and what we enjoy about work camping. So I'll list them kind of in order. They're not exactly, this is the number one reason, this is the number two reason. But these are 8 reasons that we work camp, and not necessarily the strongest to the weakest reason, but pretty close. Number one reason is we enjoy the seasonal variety. What does that mean? Well, right now, I'm sorry you can hear my vegetables. I'm cooking vegetables for the week on my Blackstone. Right now, we are in about 6 miles out of the west gate of Yellowstone National Park. Um, the weather here is beautiful. At night, it's in the upper 40s, and on average during the day, it's 78 to 82. We have had one or two days that it's gotten up to like 90 degrees, but that doesn't happen very often. Um, our next job, I told y'all we'd already gotten our next job. Our next job is 1,700 plus miles down south. We're going to be on the Gulf Coast of Texas in um, Rockport, Texas, which is in a great area. It's beachy. We'll be I'd say less than half a mile from the coast. We'll be able to go to the beach. And again, when we're down there, if you look at the average temperatures, it's upper 40s, lower 50s at night, and upper 70s to mid 80s during the day. Very reasonable temperature. Um, and yeah, so we're able to kind of regulate where um, we're not in 100-degree weather. We've worked jobs like that where it's 100 degrees in the summer, and we've worked jobs where it's negative 20, just because either we wanted to be with the people or we needed to be in the area. So you can kind of decide what you want to do and how you want to do it, and then you can go to those seasons. Number two is is work where you live. So, when I lived in the Sticks and Bricks back in Eastover, South Carolina, the there wasn't any jobs there for what I was trained to do. I was law enforcement, investigative, that sort of stuff. So I had to drive into Columbia every day, and then depending on the region or precinct I worked in at the police department, it was a 30-minute to an hour drive when I left the house every day. Now I work where I live. I walk out the door and walk down the hill to go to work. This particular campground, I'm next door to the campground, so I can either walk next door or I can take the Jeep and drive 3 minutes to employee parking. So it's convenient. You are working and living at the same spot. The other thing is that in most campgrounds you live for free or almost free. Um, so it reduces it reduces the amount of cash flow you're spending every month out of your budget. Um, this is Cindy's favorite. Number three is building new relationships. We have made so many friends, not only with the people we work with, but people we meet in the community. Um, Cindy's got there's so we were working in down in Texas at Big Chief, and we got off work pretty early every day there. We got sites ready. We were off work by 3 or 4 o'clock every day, and we met these two couples that were down there for a 2 week vacation, staying at the campground. And every late afternoon, the wives would go out and float in the cove of the lake right there at Lake Burnett, or Lake Buchanan in Burnett, and And Cindy'd go down there, and we called them the drunk girls, not trying to be ugly, but they'd go down there and they would drink and drink and drink, and Cindy'd go down there and float with them, and she keeps in contact with these two ladies on a semi-regular basis. Matter of fact, on our way down to Rockport, you know, we're taking 21 days, 3 weeks between jobs, just to kind of go around and see some friends and stuff. And we're going to try to stop there in Burnet, Texas, and stay at the same campground and see if they want to bring their camper over for a long weekend, and hang out and maybe do a little floating, depend on the weather. So building new relationships is a great one. Experience outdoor activities. Everywhere we go, like, you know that we are the healthiest fat people you know. We love to hike, we love to bike ride. Cindy loves to paddleboard. I love to fish. But since we've been here in Yellowstone, there's a ton of outdoor activities. When we get to Rockport, there's a ton of activities. Going to the beach for the day, taking picnics, going for scenic drives, just you name it, the activities there. So experience outdoor activities. You know, that's really, the older I'm getting, that's really getting to be more and more right up my alley. So I need to check the vegetables. I take you along real quick while we check the vegetables here. I've got to flip them. We don't want them to burn. You can hear them sizzling. All right, there they are, cooking up. All right, so the outdoor activities is definitely a good one. Sorry about that. Let me get my camera resituated. It's a perfect job for post-retirement. What do I mean by post-retirement? So, like I said before, I was a cop for 26 years. Age 50, police work wasn't agreeing with me. I had enough time to retire early. You know, in South Carolina, you have to have 32 years. 32 years in the retirement system to get your full retirement. At 25, you can retire. I did it at 26, so I've got my retirement and all that type of stuff. But 50's too young to be retired, in my book. So we've done several different type of work camping jobs, but I'm able to stay active. I'm able to get some side hustle money, so to speak. Cut down on my cost of living by staying, you know, free or near free in the campgrounds. Like, I'll give you an example of free or near free. Here we pay $40 a week or $42 a week as for our rent. It's $168 or so a month. Well, the campground we're working at, we get a bonus when we leave of $1 for every hour. We work anywhere from 38 to 42 hours a week when we leave, and that's to reimburse you for what it costs to stay at the campground, and to help them keep their employees. Because if you leave early, you don't get the dollar. If you finish your contract, then you get the bonus, and that's great travel money to the next campground. But you know, even if I didn't get it, $186, and that covers my electricity, covers my site, covers my water. You can't do that anywhere else. So perfect job for post-retirement. Then kind of number 6, kind of building off of that, is finding the right compensation for your needs. So right now, we are trying to build up our savings account so that we can buy a permanent spot in a resort, like on Hilton Head Island or in Blairsville, Georgia. There's 2 we looked at there. And why, you say, well, I thought you were traveling and all that stuff, and why do you need a permanent spot? Well, if COVID 2.0 is thrust upon us by our government, we'll have somewhere to go. Or if we just want to take 3 months off and relax, we can do that. The main reason for us is when we turn 62, we are going to work a season, play a season. And so we'll have a place to go. You know, if we go down to Hilton Head, we'll be at the beach. If we go to Blairsville, we'll be in the mountains, where we can just kind of go and make it our own and stay for as long as we want, come and go as we want. Blairsville, go spend a week in Nashville, then come back. Down in South Carolina, go to Gula Gorge or go out to Jekyll Island or somewhere. Just kind of travel where we want, but have kind of a home base. And so find the right compensation for your situation. I'll give you an example. We had a couple at the last campground that, because of Social Security, the lady took it at 62. She could only make like $1,400 a month. And so she was able to come to work at the park that we worked at. She worked 3 days a week and she got her free site, and she was able to keep her income under the threshold to where it wouldn't affect her Social Security. So there are lots of different opportunities out there for you to find the job that's right for you. Like I said in the video, my last weight loss video, I think it was, that there are more work camping jobs out there than there are work campers. So like when we look for jobs, my wife tells me, hey, I want to go to Texas, or I want to go near a national park, and then I start looking for a job there. And speaking on that note is number 7, is there all types of jobs out there available. And I'm not going to list them all, but to give you an example, our very first work camping job was for Southeast Publications. We were wanting to move at a fast pace, see a lot of the country, and make a little bit of money and save on camping fees. So with Southeast Publications, what we were able to do is we went and we did sold ads for the campground maps. I did that during the day. Cindy did the paperwork on the computer so that the people at the home office could put the ads together. I'd go sell 2 or 3 ads. She would do the layout of the campground map, any changes they've got as far as new sites or new amenities or correcting mistakes from the last map, anything like that. So she would do that paperwork, and then we would move every 2 weeks. Part of the deal with the guides is the park had to agree that we stayed in the park for 2, sometimes 3 weeks at the park for free, and then we got a commission on the ads sold. Sometimes we'd stay there for 2 weeks. It would be a rural area, wouldn't be a lot of ads to sell. I'd make $500 or $600, but we've stayed for free. I've got my retirement, and then we move on. Throw a little bit of gas money, move 400 to 800 miles down the road. Maybe move from Oklahoma to the panhandle of Texas and start another job. Stay free, might make $1,000, $1,500 at the next job, which is $3,000 a month, and then put a little money in the bank, maybe take 2 or 3 weeks off, do what we want to do. We were trying to work half a year. We were trying to work 12 to 13 jobs, parks for them during the year. And then we would, so we'd work 26 weeks and take the rest of the year off, and kind of do it in spurts. Maybe work 2 jobs, take a month off. Work 2 jobs, take 3 weeks off. So Southeast Publications, great opportunity if you want to move fast. Other jobs, we've settled in and we like working campgrounds. At campgrounds though, there's a ton of different jobs. Like at this job, I work host. Our next job, I wanted to be a little more active. So I'm doing grounds. I'm going to be, cutting a little bit of grass, cleaning some sites, getting the sites ready for the new camper to come into. And Cindy's going to be doing part-time rec and working in the office. So you can work in rec, you can work on grounds, you can work in maintenance, you can be a host, you can work a lot of one of the campgrounds we worked at, Cindy worked in the wine bar. She served wine at night to people and sold bottles of wine. Um, there's just a ton of different opportunities working campgrounds. Uh, we had worked a campground up in California where a friend of ours, he did bike repair and bike rental at the campground. It was a huge campground, had lots of rental bikes. He would rent them out and make sure the chains were greased and the tires were filled. There's all kinds of stuff. Whatever your passion is, I bet you can find it at a campground. You know, you can do Amazon. Working at Amazon Fulfillment Center, they make pretty good money. It's hard work. You do it for 3 months and then you take 2 months off. They provide you a campground nearby. I've never done it. It's not the kind of work I want. But if you like working in warehouses and that sort of stuff, there's Amazon. We've got friends that every year they do, for their winter job, they do the beet harvest up in Wisconsin or Minnesota or North Dakota. It's like a 6-week job. Now you work 12, 14, 15 hours a day. But in that 6 to 8 weeks, I'm told you make $15,000-$20,000 as a couple. You can afford to take the rest of the winter off and do what you want. We've got friends that do the beet harvest, take a little bit of time off, then they go down to Florida and they sell Christmas trees. They camp right there. They bring a generator or whatever for you, hook your camper up. It's 4 to 6 weeks. He said last year in Ocala, Florida, I think he said, he was there for 7 weeks with tips and everything. Him and his wife made $20,000 after the beet harvest and the Christmas tree. They didn't have to work for 6 more months. They just did what they wanted to, traveled at their own pace. We got somebody here in Yellowstone that they're going to do the pumpkin harvest. I'm not even sure where the pumpkin harvest is and didn't know what a thing is, but he thinks he'll make $12,000. He says they do the harvest and then they go over after they make that. Then they go to a pumpkin patch and they set up. They bring the pumpkins from the harvest. He sets up and sells pumpkins for Halloween or whatever they sell them for, and makes another 10 or 12,000. So he works these 2 jobs, might work a total of 3 months, make $24,000, and moves on. There's gate guarding. We've got an old couple that we know down in Texas, Dennis and Dottie. I don't mean to call you old, but you are in your late 70s. And they do gate guarding. They'll work 6 months. And so one of them has to be at that gate 24 hours a day. You don't do much. You just check people in, make sure they're supposed to be there. And while you're working, your spouse will drive into town and get the supplies you need. They do that. They make $50,000, they tell me, for 5 to 6 months worth of work, and then they take the other 6 months off. So there's all types of jobs, all type of compensation levels, whatever you want. And then the last thing is it's easy, or it has been for us, easy to find jobs in an area that you want to be. My wife loves the Midwest. I love the Midwest. She likes all the opportunity for outdoors. She loves to be in the national parks. She loves to see the animals. There's a ton of way to find jobs up here. Delaware East or something like that it's called handles all the hiring for the parks. We have a friend right now that we met in Alabama 2 years ago. We saw on Facebook they're up here working in the park. Her husband's retired electrician. He does electrical work. The wife gets the supplies needed to run all the different stores and commercial operations. She works in a warehouse there. They work, I think, 4 days a week. They're off 3 days a week. They get a free place to live. They're in the national park every day. They get to experience all kind of things. Our next job, we need to go back to Texas. I haven't had the vehicles inspected, the Jeep or the camper. Texas does require a yearly inspection, but I think you can forego it for 5 years We're getting ready to hit year number 4. I just got notification for inspection on the camper and the registration. So we're going to go down there and get all that caught up. Also, I didn't realize that our wills from South Carolina are not good as a Texas resident. So we're going to go down there and get new wills made up and all that kind of stuff. So we needed to be in Texas. In one afternoon, I found us a nice job in Texas and a bonus on the beach. So there is 8 reasons why we love work camping and why I think you would love work camping too. Please leave in your comments. If you have any questions, I'll try to answer them. As always, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you want more content like this. And I did a video a week and a half ago on the 5 ways that we find our work camping job. Now, I will warn you, the first 5.5 minutes is me rambling about other stuff that I enjoy. I enjoy having conversations with y'all, and so I did do 5 minutes of rambling, but from the 5.5 minute mark on, ton of information to help you find your work camping job. So go back in my past videos and look at that. For now, be safe out there camping, and I'll talk to y'all later. Thank you. Hope you enjoyed.